These were the kind of nights we could only dream of during a wicked winter. A perfect evening for baseball ahead at Target Field between the Twins and the Brewers. The Twins-Brewers series on Fox Sports North is presented by Wisconsin Tourism. Twins try to hammer out another win tonight behind Josh Willingham, who launched his fourth home run in 6 games last night in Milwaukee. He's knocked in 10 runs in that span. Brian Dozier has added a 2-run shot, was 3 for 3 last night at the plate. He leads the Twins with 12 home runs, the most of any second baseman in baseball. Home runs have to be a concern tonight for Brewers starter Marco Estrada. He served up 17 this year, the most in Major League Baseball. Meanwhile, Ricky Nolasco hopes to build off his winning performance last Friday in New York, where he battled and beat the Yankees. The Twins and Brewers annual interleague series shifts from Milwaukee to Minneapolis tonight. Let's look at our news and notes as this border battle goes into Act 2. Over the last 2 nights, Twins and Brewers have been playing their own version of home run derby. Milwaukee hit a pair and took game 1. The Twins countered with 2 and a win last night. We all agree there's no place like home. That's certainly true for a Twins squad that's been dominant at Target Field against the Brewers of late. 11 wins in the last 15 meetings with Milwaukee here. And after an extended slump, at least for him, Joe Mauer's returned to his usual steady and dominant self at the plate. Collecting 5 hits in his last 3 games, Mauer power has returned to the Twins. Coming up, it's hammer time with Dick Bramer and Jack Morris. No, they won't be singing Can't Touch This in parachute pants. They'll be talking about Josh Willingham's power at the plate.
Fox Sports North is presented by Menards. Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards. And by Dodge. Hurry into the Dodge 100-year event and see how good we look for our age. The home half of the border battle begins tonight at Target Field. A beautiful night for baseball. Game 3. Josh Willingham has spent most of his career in the National League, and it appears he likes to hit against National League teams as an American leaguer. And Willingham in the lineup tonight as the Twins hope to make it 2 in a row over the Brewers. Dick Bramer, Jack Morris bringing you Game 3 from Target Field, and Willingham has provided what the Twins were looking for, a healthy, productive return to the lineup from their slugger.
Instead of a couple singles strung out, maybe a walk, one swing of the bat can change the outcome of a ball game. Josh Willingham has been able to do that since he has returned. It's amazing to me to watch this swing. It reminds me of a kid that used to watch Harmon Killebrew with that full extension and strong, broad upper body. Josh has really put the hammer down, and it's been fun for him. He's way up there in all categories, especially RBI since his return. Willingham's return to the lineup coincided with a time where the Twins were struggling to score runs, and so far he's done his part to help out. Well, he has, and Josh has been modest about it. You know, an injury that he had, a broken wrist, you know, that's something nobody expected him to come back so soon and contribute so well, but he's done a great job. And Josh commented on his return from the injury.
You know, it took it a while to feel better, and, you know, I tried to swing early and it didn't, and finally when it started feeling better, I think that's when you just kind of let go a little bit and you don't think about it anymore and you can focus on other things.
Last year, the Twins won all 4 games between Minnesota and Milwaukee. They'll hope to pick up a 3 out of 4 series win starting tonight. Gone off the facing of the second deck. The home run, a single play with numerous names, a long ball or round tripper, a tater or 4-bagger, dinger and jack, a poke or a blast, a rocket, a missile, laser or big fly, no doubter. Call them what you want, but recently the Twins called them a welcome sight. Midwest Muscle has returned, and so have the Twins to Target Field as the second act of a border battle begins now. And so far in this series with Milwaukee, the team that's homered has won. Look what the Twins have done since May 26th. They've finished 5th so far in terms of home runs hit, and they're moving up in the season chart as well in the American League. There are now 4 teams in the American League that have homered fewer times than the Twins. And Trevor Plouffe hoping that the Twins can have a good homestand here, 2 with Ron Renicke's Brewers and then 3 with the Houston Astros. And Renicky has his team in a pretty good spot. So far they've held off the Cardinals in the National League Central. The Menards batting order for the Brewers Gene Segura leading off. Ryan Braun batting second. Jonathan Lucroy, Carlos Gomez, Aramis Ramirez in the DH spot. He's missed 3 weeks with a hamstring injury. Then Ricky Weeks, Mark Reynolds, Lyle Overbay, and Logan Schaefer.
And they'll be facing right-hander Ricky Nolasco. Ricky's seeking his 4th win of the season. He picked up a W his last outing in New York, going 6 strong innings, only allowing the 1 run. Let's see the numbers on Ricky for the year.
Northland Ford defense for the Twins. Josh Willingham in left, and Danny Santana back out there in center field. Oswaldo Arcia in right. Plouffe, Escobar, Dozier, Mauer, Suzuki. Danny Santana getting another start out there in center field. Ron Gardenhire likes what he brings to the lineup and hopes that he can adapt to life as an outfielder. You don't get the umpires who've also made the trip from Milwaukee to Minnesota. Andy Fletcher, Chris Siegel, Mike Muchlinski, and Mark Wagner. Absolutely gorgeous weather. 77 degrees. And summer is finally here, Jack, in the upper Midwest.
Well, I'm just wondering where the squalls are going to come from. You know, you and Roy were pretty convinced they were coming from a certain direction in New York.
Segura, Braun, and Lucroy will hit for the Brewers here in the first inning. Nolasco won his last start against the Yankees. First pitch popped up near second base. And it's Dozier in short center. 1 pitch, 1 out. And that'll bring up Ryan Braun. The numbers were not good for Nolasco. He walked too many guys. He gave up too many hits. Seemed like he was forever in trouble against the Yankees, but just gave up the 1 run.
Well, it's all about pitch count for Ricky. You know, getting ahead, it's easier for him to flip that breaking ball up and get hitters chase out of his zone. But when he's behind, they're able to take that a little more. The Brewers are a free swinging team, and I don't expect pitch count to be a big issue tonight.
Here's Braun taking a strike on the outside corner. Nolasco threw 107 pitches, and just over half of them were strikes. That's unlike Nolasco or anybody else who's out there on a regular basis who wants to pitch effectively and deep into a ball game. You simply need to throw more strikes, and he's thrown nothing but them so far here tonight.
Coors cold hard facts right there.
That'll be coming up here shortly. 2 strikes to Ryan Braun. Lucroy on deck. And a strikeout. Braun's retired 2 quick outs here. The Coors Light Cold Hard Facts brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light in Minnesota. The Twins have had the better of it, including both games last year, and across the board better numbers up and down, which the Twins hope will bode well for this little 2-game set. 2 down. That'll bring up Lucroy.
This time of year last year, the Brewers were not playing that good of baseball. They've really improved up to this point so far this year.
They dealt with some injuries last year and really had a dreadful month of May where they only won 6 games, and you have a month like that, Jack, you just can't recover. They never really did, but they had some injuries this year, but they kept winning. Injuries to Braun. Talked about Ramirez. And a strike. 1-1.
Plus, you go through the 2-week period that the Brewers have gone through with their offense. Showed graphics over the weekend or the last couple of days about they're leading all of baseball in a lot of the offensive categories.
It's a little breaking ball over the helmet of a ducking Lucroy. Second best record in the National League, 3rd best record overall. Twins haven't fared well against the Giants or the A's, but they won a ball game last night against Milwaukee. Fouled back. The National League Central, not unlike the American League Central. There's a team clearly better than everyone else. In the American League Central, it's Detroit, although they're struggling right now. In the National League Central, it's Milwaukee. And then you've got everybody else vying for second place. The difference is the Cubs are in the National League Central, and they're really struggling. Already a dozen games out of first and 13 below 500. 2-2 to Lucroy. Full count.
And the Brewers just recently played the Cubs before the Twins went into Miller Park.
Gomez on deck. And Velasco gave up 4 walks over his 6 innings at Yankee Stadium. Popped up toward Dozier. Couple of pop-ups, a strikeout, a 1-2-3 inning, all of them on 10 pitches. Garden Hire hoping that the Twins can follow up a winning road trip with a winning homestand. Menard's batting order in the homestand opener: Danny Santana in the leadoff spot, Brian Dozier batting second, Joe Mauer third. Then the middle of a lineup of the lineup consisting of Willingham, Arcia, and Plouffe, Suzuki, Pinto, and Escobar.
Mall of America scouting report for Marco Estrada. He's pretty much a fastball, curveball, changeup guy. His changeup being his best pitch, and everything keys off of that changeup. He throws a fastball that's very straight, usually up in the zone, and it's not that overpowering, 88 to 90 miles an hour. But when his changeup is as effective as it can be, that fastball looks like it's in the mid-90s, and he gets some strikeouts up there.
Northland Ford defense for the Brewers: Logan Schaefer in left, Carlos Gomez in center, Ryan Braun in right, Reynolds, Segura, Weeks, and Overbay in the infield, and Lucroy back behind the plate. You know, you look at Estrada's numbers without having seen him pitch, and you say, well, this guy, he must be a power pitcher because he strikes out a lot of guys, gives up a lot of home runs. But it's anything but the case. I mean, he's given up a lot of home runs because he's left a lot of his fastballs up around the belt.
Exactly. And, you know, when the changeup's not working, that fastball curveball combination's not the greatest contrast.
Danny Santana to lead things off. Squaring to bunt, taking outside, ball one.
We have seen, though, over the years, quite a few strikeout pitchers whose out pitch was a changeup. Johan Santana for years here in Minnesota.
Well, drive to right center field, and Gomez tracking it down, making the catch just short of the warning track, one down. Well, that'll bring up Brian Dozier. Well, here's one guy that if Estrada leaves his fastball up around the belt, Dozier should enjoy hitting against this guy, because that's where he has been his most destructive. Teeing off on fastballs up.
Especially middle half in. Brian really can turn on that pitch. He's as quick inside as anybody in baseball right now.
There's a high fastball at the belt, called a strike. Dozen home runs for Dozier out of either the leadoff spot or the second spot on the lineup, taking inside 1-1.
Who'd have thunk that? Who would have predicted that Brian Dozier, coming into this year at this point, would be #1 in all of baseball in either one spot or two spot.
Breaking ball over. We have 106 games left to play, counting tonight's game. This guy's already scored 47 runs.
Well, his goal was to score 100. Him and Tom Bernansky kind of got together.
Driven to left, and that's over the head of Logan Schaefer. Dozier digs for second, and he's got a one-out double.
Right there, Brian Dozier doing what we just talked about, getting the fastball over the middle part of the plate. And he drove the ball. He's really showing how quick and powerful his hands are. And those hands are what generates so much bat speed. And when he hits the ball in the bottom half of the ball, like you see right there on contact, he gets that backspin, and the ball seems to carry quite well.
So a double for Dozier, his 10th double of the year. I don't think we ever thought that Dozier would be the type of player that would hit more home runs than doubles, but that's been the case so far this year. And Mauer takes down and away, ball one.
You look at Brian Dozier and you say, well, why is a guy of his stature, not the biggest, not the strongest guy in the game, hitting so many home runs? And it's because his core strength is strong, his lower body, but he generates great bat speed. And that's all from hands. You don't have to be the strongest guy when you swing that bat and you have more bat speed than anybody else.
Oh, he got a tremendous break. Out at third. Dozier thrown out. I didn't think they had a chance of getting him. He took off before Estrada broke from the stretch.
Brian Dozier thinks possibly that he might have been safe. He's trying to stall a little bit to see if Gardy will come out and argue his point. But it looked like the throw beat him. And Lucroy, man, he must have done a great job there.
That now. Yeah, here they come. I think they may have a replay here. I didn't think there was any chance that the play would even be close. That's how good of a break Dozier had from second base.
Where was it, Dick? Just not too long ago, Dozier took off on somebody and the guy stepped off.
Yeah, that
Help me out.
That was here, I believe, against in the Texas series. I believe.
Yeah.
I know the play you're talking about.
Anyway, he was getting such a great lead. We're going to see it. Should be a good angle right here. Oof. We can't see when he makes contact with his glove, but it looked like his hands got in maybe before.
So they will look at it, and the Twins will use a challenge, hoping that it's successful, but knowing that if it's not, they're done here in the first inning.
Well, Sean Harlan's got the tough job of reviewing these, and Gardy wants a thumbs up or a thumbs down when Paul Molitor gives him a signal. Usually Gardy's out there with the umpires. Now he's rejoined them in the dugout. But in order to argue it, he needs to clearly know whether we should or should not. And they've had a tough go of it so far.
The best thing that baseball did in enacting this new policy, a challenge policy, is letting the fans watch the replays in the ballpark while it's being reviewed in New York. So they're an active participant in this process.
Well, the other thing it does, by doing it in New York, it diffuses any anger towards the umpires that are on the field.
Right.
And Gardy, I've joked with him, and he's actually been quite serious. He says, I have no fun anymore. I can't argue. There's no arguing in baseball anymore.
No, they'll get a fourth view of it here on the big board. And again, I'm just astounded that the play was as close as it was, because I thought Dozier almost had a walking lead from second base. There needs to be clear and convincing
evidence. You tell me, Dick, is that clear and convincing? I don't know.
I know the Twins have felt like they have been on the wrong end of more of these than they would like. I know that. Watch the fingertips on the bag, and there.
It's hard for us to determine when that glove actually hits his forearm. But somebody in New York's going to make a call and it's safe.
So it is a stolen base for Dozier.
The way it's changed the game, not only on the field for us in the booth that keeps score, is you can't mark anything down until they finally figure it out.
Now we can. Apparently the ruling, the fingertips touched the base right before the glove hit the elbow. So it is a stolen base for Dozier. And the count is 2-0 to Mauer. Infield back. And again, Joe has not done well in situations like this at all when teams, and now as the pitch is delivered, the infield is coming in. And Mauer lofts it to right field. Braun with the catch. And he's got a great arm, and Dozier won't have a chance to score. A lazy line drive, and Braun running toward the line with an easy catch. 2 away.
It's amazing, though, how that replay changed the dynamics of this game already in the first inning. Brian Dozier would have been the second out. Mauer, as it turned out, would have been the third out. But the Twins had a shot at scoring Mauer with only one out at third base. Or, excuse me, Dozier.
It'll be left to Willingham, and he has excelled in situations like this. A big RBI single in a similar spot a couple games ago, and he takes strike one. Here we are, first week of June. 4 home runs isn't much, but they've all come in the last week. Towering pop-up, short center field. Ricky Weeks called off by Gomez, and that wraps it up. Dozier left at third, no score after 1. Good first inning, a 1-2-3 inning. He struggled, bobbed and weaved his way through 6 innings, but got the win in New York.
And the difference tonight already in this game is Ricky's kind of determined that even though the Brewers may have a better offense, he's coming after him. He's challenging them, and that's what you need to do, especially early in the game. Let your defenders have a chance to catch a ball, move the game along, and don't get that pitch count climbing.
There's Gomez way out in front of an off-speed pitch. Strike one.
I think Ricky's got some tools that can really mess up Carlos Gomez, who is a free swinger.
1-1. Now Gomez has a double. He creamed one last night for a double, but he struck out to end the game. Gomez bent over as if there's an issue, but Twins have just consistently pitched him away and let him swing for the left field corner. Suzuki again sets up outside. And there's another swing and a tapper foul.
Carlos has got kind of an open stance when he's waiting for the pitcher to deliver the pitch, and he steps into the ball, and sometimes not quite that far. He tries to stay open so he can yank the ball down the left field line. He wants his tendency, and he wants to try to pull the ball.
Gomez doesn't leave the batter's box, still locked in on Nolasco. 1-2. A breaking ball, and Gomez might have missed his pitch.
Well, that fastball just came a couple clicks faster because he had thrown the 2 breaking balls, and I think Gomez was probably sitting on breaking ball and has to adjust to that fastball. He's just a little bit tardy on it. But again, there's my theory. Throw the ball over the middle. Even the best hitters will get themselves out 7 out of 10 times.
1-2. Missed the outside corner with a fastball. Fouled it off his leg. Still 2-2.
There's a fastball that Kurt Suzuki wanted on the outer half. He set up on the outside corner, and it kind of ran back over the heart of the plate. You don't want that to happen. That's the sinker you want to run on the inside part of the plate and keep running in on the guy's hands.
And a breaking ball. Got a strikeout, 1 away. Second strikeout in the early going for Nolasco.
A good location of this breaking ball. You see Suzuki setting up, and he actually starts it at his glove, and it breaks down and almost into the dirt. Carlos Gomez just has a tough time laying off those pitches when he is behind in the count.
1 down, and here's Aramis Ramirez. Sharply hit on the ground. Escobar keeps the tailgate down, makes the catch, and throws him out. 2 down. Sanford Health injury return for Ramirez as a designated hitter tonight. Or Sanford Health injury report: a strained left hamstring, and it kept him out about 3 weeks.
Yeah, he had 6 at-bats in the minor league level. Played in 2 games. He was rained out of another game, and that's usually not enough for most guys. But Ramirez has been around the block, and he knows when he's ready, and they could use his big swing in the lineup.
First 2 games of the series, Ricky Weeks was relegated to pinch hitting duty. He's got great numbers against Nolasco, who misses outside ball 1, and so Weeks gets the start here today. 10 hits, 21 at bats, a couple of home runs.
That's pretty good numbers. Almost a 500 batting average.
And now it is a 500 batting average. It's 11 for 22. Willingham backhands it. Weeks streaking for second, and he's in with a 2-out double.
Don't think that both the hitter and the pitcher aren't aware of those numbers either. As a pitcher, you're always aware of the guys that have done well against you, and first hitters, I think they just would rather go to the plate than the candy store when they know a guy is done so well against them.
Could see Plouffe playing well off the line. That's where the positioning charts designated he should be. Mark Reynolds, the hitter, with Weeks at second and 2 away.
Reynolds is one guy in the lineup that Nolasco's done well against.
I should say so. 2 for 15 with 10 strikeouts. Now Reynolds has been around for a long time, and he's always been a very strikeout prone hitter, but Nolasco has struck him out 10 of the 15 times. And that is foul.
Boy.
Wow. From up here, it looked like it hit the line, but no one could have gotten a better look than Mark Wegner. It landed about 5 feet in front of him.
He's right on the line.
Make it 15 feet in front of him. Two strikes. to Reynolds. Fouled away. Ed Cedar, the third base coach, now is going to step up to where the ball hit near the chalk line. Get a close look at it, but no protesting at all by Cedar. He was maybe closer to it, the only man closer to it than Mark Wagner. Another 0-2 pitch to right center. And Reynolds, who threatened to get an extra base hit down the left field line, instead gets one to right center. And the Brewers back up a 2-out double with a second one to get the game's first run.
Hey, Rick.
As we probably get to see this all over again, you saw Kurt Suzuki kind of setting up high. He wanted Nolasco to go up the ladder, and he did, but not quite high enough. And a lot of times that's a good pitch, but to a guy like Reynolds, who is a lot like Willingham, they both love to extend those big, strong arms. The ball away is never an issue for those guys. It's tying them up inside that can be the put-out pitch.
Fastball down the middle of strike to Lyle Overbeck. Reynolds driving in his 28th run. Pretty impressive for a guy hitting just over 200. And now inside 1-1.
Reynolds' power numbers, his home runs and his RBI are the things that have kept him in the big leagues, because all those strikeouts over the years have driven a lot of managers crazy enough to say, we've had enough of you. He's played for several teams.
Off-speed pitch over the inside corner. And it's 1-2. Another off-speed pitch, missing the corner. 2-2. Nolasco got through the first inning on just 10 pitches, but almost twice that many so far here in the second. And a high fastball gets over. The inning ends, but not until the Brewers put together a couple of 2-out doubles to get the first run of the game. Oswaldo Arcia will lead off the second for the Twins. Thanks to a Mark Reynolds 2-out double. Brewers have the lead going to the bottom of the second. You're watching the Twins Brewers on Fox Sports North, presented by Wisconsin Tourism. Our Soup.com trivia question: which Twin has hit the most home runs in interleague history? That's just a Twins record. And the first pitch to Oswaldo Arcia hits the corner. 1 strike. Figures that Estrada would give up 1 or more home runs here. I think you saw the numbers. 17 home runs allowed in just 67 innings so far this year. So I did the math out of fairness and respect for Bert Blyleven, who holds the record for most home runs allowed in a season, 50. Bert pitched 271 2/3 innings that year when he set the major league record by giving up 50. If, miracle of miracles, Estrada were to pitch 271 2/3 innings, he would give up 70 home runs. Bert's record would be blown out of the water. Fouled away, and it's 2-2.
Estrada's right there, 17, leading the major leagues this year.
These days, because the times have changed, starting pitcher wants to pitch 200 innings. High fastball gets Arcia 1 away, and if he gets to 200, Bert's record might still be in jeopardy at the rate things have gone so far. 1 down, that'll bring up Bloof.
Right there, Estrada running the fastball up the ladder on Arcia. It was Arcia's first at bat against Estrada. You saw over in Milwaukee that the Brewers are trying to run the ball up there against Arcia. He has a tough time laying off that pitch.
I think it's safe to say, isn't it, Jack, that most hitters do, and that's what makes what Dozier does so uncommon. Dozier can handle that pitch well up out of the strike zone, and most guys, that's a swing and a miss pitch.
Well, Dozier has the ability to open up his hips quick, and his hands come flying through there. The ball on the hands in that same spot inside corner would be a harder pitch to hit, because usually the hitter will only, if they make good contact with it, they usually pull it foul. But the one that's up around the letters, they're able to throw those hands out in front, a lot like what we call the Jeter drill with Derek Jeter, inside outing that swing.
High fly to center. Gomez comes in a couple of steps, veers to his left, and that makes the catch. 2 down. And that'll bring up Suzuki. Timeout for you to tweet a photo using #NorthFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming game broadcast brought to you by AT&T. 2 down. Dozier, the only Twins batter to reach after his 1-out double. Strikeout and 4 outfield flies for Estrada. On the outside corner. Suzuki's hit all over this year. Just about every spot imaginable, even cleanup for the Twins. Hopped up behind first, chased by Overbay. Weeks is over there, and Overbay at foul ground makes the catch. And on 11 pitches, Estrada has a 1-2-3 center. Sports North is presented by Century Link, your link to what's next. By Northland Ford. Visit northlandford.com and your local Northland Ford dealers today. And by Grand Casino. The best stories start here. 1-0 Milwaukee. Heading to the third inning, Dick Bramer joined by Jack Morris for this Milwaukee series. Tom Kelly will be in the booth this weekend, and then the Twins head out on a critical road trip with a lot of tough teams and a lot of games on the road. He's gone for a week and a half. The next 15 games going to be very critical to this Twins team. They need to play their best baseball of the year, and they've been headed in that direction, at least in the pitching side. The pitching has been better, and maybe now over the last few games the lineup showing some signs of life. Maybe they're ready to take on some really tough teams on this next road trip, including Toronto, Detroit, and Boston. 1 strike to Logan Schaefer, the left fielder. Slow breaking ball snaps over. 0-2.
Well, a year ago you'd have probably trembled thinking about those series coming up, but the Twins have beaten all 3 of those teams in series here at Target Field this year.
Care of the Blue Jays 2-1. Won 3 of the 5 with the Tigers. Won 2 out of 3 with the Red Sox. That's a check swing, and it's strike 3. And Suzuki, no, they're saying he's out.
Well, it might have hit him. Is it a dead ball?
If it hit him on a swing, then yes, it is.
Yeah, he swung.
And that must have been what happened. Yes, because Suzuki never left the catcher's box.
And like Roy said, you're having a bad day when you strike out and then it hits you too, right in the toe. And for a pitcher, that's the best pitch ever. That's better than a broken bat.
Andy Fletcher right away pointed and said that was strike 3 and the batter was out. 1 down. Here is Gene Segura.
4 strikeout already for Ricky Nolasco.
Segura swung at the first pitch, popped up to short center. Dozier with the catch for the first out. And Nolasco with that first pitch breaking ball gets a called strike. Fastball up high. So far so good for Nolasco, who admitted he needed to throw more strikes than he did in his last start. 35 pitches for Nolasco, 25 strikes. And so far 4 strikeouts. Past Nolasco, but right to Dozier. 2 down. And that'll bring up Ryan Braun. Saturday, a full day of MLB action, beginning with the Indians taking on the Rangers on Fox Sports 1. Then Baseball Night in America on Fox. David Ortiz and the Red Sox battle Miguel Cabrera and the Tigers. MLB doubleheader begins Saturday at 2 p.m. Central on Fox Sports 1 and continues at 6 p.m. Central on Fox. Red Sox and Indians delayed in Cleveland now because of weather. Blue Jays have taken a 3-2 lead on the Tigers, who have gone through a bit of a tough patch. Taking on a really good team right now in the Toronto Blue Jays, but then as we just promoted, they've got the Red Sox coming up after that. And the Tigers looked like they were ready to run away and hide. They're still the only team in the division with a winning record. Dribbler to the shortstop. Escobar charges, fires. Good play. 9 pitches and a 1-2-3 third inning for Ricky Nolasco. is the place to be during the summer. Whether it's a family celebration, a church outing, or an event to raise funds for your organization, reserve your group tickets today. Organize your group outing of 25 people or more and head down to a Twins game. Call 800-33-TWINS and ask about a group outing here at Target Field. Weather won't always be this nice. This is about as perfect a weather as you're going to get to watch baseball or do anything in this time of year in Minnesota. Josmeo Pinto will lead off the third for the Twins, and Eduardo Escobar and Danny Santana. Jack, I know you did the pre and the post game work while we were in Milwaukee, and now in the booth. To me, there's a marked difference because tonight we're playing by American League rules. And this inning is starting with the 8th place hitter, Pinto. And if you're a Twins fan, you maybe feel it at home too. There's a whole lot more hope that something can happen on the good side in terms of hits or run production than there was with the pitcher in the lineup.
You mean you don't want Sammy Taduno to hit right here instead of Josmeo Pinto?
1 and 2.
No question. When you can insert the potential best hitter in the lineup and take out, without argument, the worst hitter in the lineup and the starting pitcher, the game drastically changes. And here at Target Field, of course, they're playing under American League rules with the designated hitter.
And an overhand fastball. Another strikeout for Estrada. Pinto gone, 1 away. It's been fly balls and strikeouts for Estrada so far. We'll bring up Eduardo Escobar.
A good straight fastball right here. He just gets it in there quick enough that Josmeo Pinto just couldn't get the bat head through the zone. He tried to, and he just missed it.
Here's Escobar, swing and a miss. Escobar, when he took over at short, was spraying line drives all over the ballpark. And now the average settling down gradually into the low 300s. Strike 2 if he can keep it there or just keep it above 280. I think the Twins would be happy with that. What they don't want is the precipitous decline that check swing and a one hopper to third. Reynolds fields and sidearms it across the diamond, 2 down. You don't want the batting average and the production to fall off the edge of the table.
Well, he's been a key part of the Twins offense so far, and kind of a surprise, I think, to Ron Gardenhire and his staff. Just basically played his way into shortstop because Florimon had such a tough time hitting the ball. And given the chance, Escobar really took off offensively and defensively. We both agree he's played great defense for the Twins.
Santana takes it the knee, strike 1.
In fact, so much so that Danny Santana, who probably would have had some reps at shortstop, has been forced to try his luck at center field.
And I checked with Eduardo Nunez the other day to make sure I was correct in my conclusion. He was brought over to help out at short. He hasn't started a game there yet.
Yeah.
He's played some at third, some in the outfield. 2 strikes to Santana. Twins have just 1 base runner, Dozier, who doubled in the first. Foul tip, and Santana's still alive. Stung Lucroy. And home plate umpire Andy Fletcher delivers a ball to the mound.
This is where catchers are just tough individuals. That's all I can say. The umpire gives him a 5-second break by walking a ball out to the mound. I'd still be crying. It's like it might have got him off the side of the forearm, maybe. I don't know. It never feels good, I can tell you that. There's never enough padding, and it's never in the right spot.
And for anybody who's caught, you can sympathize with Lucroy. One and 2 to Santana. Popped up. And Reynolds comes in foul territory to end the inning. And a good inning for Estrada and a 1-0 Milwaukee lead.
the Twins 1-0. And across the street at Target Center, there's a pretty good team that's undefeated right now in the Minnesota Lynx. One of those players, Lindsey Whalen, was here to throw out the first pitch at Target Field. You told me you've done this before, and the last time you did it, hit the backstop. Tonight, strike.
Yeah, tonight strike. I learned from my mistakes. Feel like I'm, pretty coachable, so I was able to take a couple pointers for some people and throw it in there. The last time was really bad, so I'm glad I improved this time.
Did you play some ball in your day?
Yeah, T-ball and a little softball, little league, so, and then just like in the backyard playing and everything. So I definitely grew up playing the game and have always enjoyed it.
Nice to see your skills displayed on the big stage here tonight. Across the street, you guys are doing well. 7-0 start and hopefully defense of a championship. But you guys are doing it with hurt players right now. That's got to be a pretty special feeling.
It's been good. It's been a good start. A couple of those guys, Devereaux and Monty, are now getting back into it, and they're starting to practice. And Dev played in a couple games, so it's been fun to really see them kind of progress and start to feel better. And
hang on.
Fair foul.
That's foul.
And so it's been fun to see them kind of get back. And we're just trying to play with a good rhythm, a lot of intensity. We've had a couple really good practices this week. And, Coach is just putting us in the right mind frame every day for every practice. And we just try to follow her lead and keep playing hard.
Good luck to you, Lindsey. It's a fun season to follow.
Should be good. Thanks.
There's Lindsey Whalen, who Dick and Jack was an All-Star, deserves to be one again. And you can vote for the Lynx in the All-Star game right now, too. That's at WNBA.com. Let's get Lindsey there.
Well, thank you, Marty. Lucroy nearly hit a tape measure home run. It was a foul ball, and now he's called out on strikes. Lucroy claiming that he foul-tipped the ball. Home plate umpire Andy Fletcher again immediately, emphatically said no. He didn't foul tip it, and Suzuki dug it out of the dirt. So instead of a 2-0 Brewer lead on the very next pitch, now a controversial strike three.
Well, these are not reviewable. We get to see it. I don't think he came close, but
see if we can hear it. There was a second tick there, but that could have been the ball hitting the ground and then into the glove.
That was Suzuki's shin guard hitting the ground before the ball. I mean, come on, we can make all sorts of sounds. Sound is not how you rule things.
Ron Renicky continuing his debate with Andy Fletcher. And I think he's pointing toward first base umpire Chris Siegel, saying, why don't you just ask?
Well, I don't know what a first base umpire is going to do in that situation either. He's 120 feet away from home plate.
And Renicky's close to getting tossed here now. Technically, this is arguing about balls and strikes. And nice to see Andy Fletcher showing some restraint, at least so far, and keeping the manager in the game.
Well, Gardy has jokingly said to me it's kind of no fun managing anymore because you rarely can even argue anything. It's the replays have taken over that whole aspect of the game.
1-0 to Carlos Gomez. Went down swinging his first time up. And again away off the plate. 2-0. Off the end of the bat, a busted bat, and Dozier throws to Mauer, 2 down. And that'll bring up Aramis Ramirez. Limited number of season ticket locations are available in the Delta Sky 360 Legends Club. Enjoy padded seats, in-seat service, and the creature comforts that make the Legends Club the perfect combination of luxury and baseball. Call 800-33-TWINS. Visit twinsbaseball.com. Find out how you can join the fun in the Delta Sky 360 Legends Club. Here's Aramis Ramirez. Lunging at an off-speed pitch, strike one.
Second time in 2 at-bats that Ramirez has offered at the first pitch. He's not looking at that first pitch that he can hit.
Gomez busted his bat. Most of it ended up with some grass after he threw it away going down the line. Whoop. Oh my.
That can hurt. And right on your tailbone.
Someone, and for some reason the name Omar Infante comes to mind, of the Kansas City Royals, spent some time on the disabled list because of a slip in the dugout very early in the season, second week of the year. 1-2. Aramis Ramirez, the batter, grounded out in the first pitch he saw in his first at bat, and now poked to center. And Santana coming in makes the catch. Another 1-2-3 inning for Ricky Nolasco. He's had 3 of those already tonight. Left field, a no-doubter for Brian Dozier.
There's a shot deep to left field. That one's going a long way into the second deck.
Twins and Brewers on Fox Sports North, presented by Wisconsin Tourism. And I guess that's one thing that is worth pointing out too. When Dozier hits his home runs, they're not wall scrapers. I mean, he clears the fence by plenty. Off-speed pitch over the outside corner, a strike. Dozier with more home runs in the first or second spot of the lineup than anybody else, including Mike Trout and Carlos Gomez. 1-1.
Well, we had our crack group of statisticians guys look up the numbers for Marco Estrada and his 17 home runs. 13 of those have been solos, and I know I brought that up because you and your partner could be arguing for a while about the meaning of that. But you look at his record, he's 5-2 coming into tonight's game, so possibly only 4 of those 17 were multi-run home runs.
3-1.
And they may have come in 2 of those losses.
It is Mr. Blyleven's contention that solo home runs won't beat you. My contention's always been if you give up enough of them, they can. 3-1.
It's when you give them up, I guess.
And Dozier takes a leadoff walk. He's been the only base runner for the Twins. A one-out double in the first, and now a leadoff walk in the fourth.
First walk of the ball game.
Estrada just walking now 21 in 70 innings, so walks haven't been a chronic issue for him. Here's Mauer. Twins had a runner at third, 1 out. Mauer hit a fly ball to right, but not deep enough to score Dozier. Dozier's already stolen third, and they'll try to do what they can to keep him from stealing second.
Dick, to continue that thought that we were just on, not that I'm defending home runs, but in today's generation it seems like pitchers just despise the home run. The pitch count doesn't seem to be near the issue.
Anthony's a strike.
And I think if you took a survey of all defensive fielders, both on the infield and the outfield, they would much rather a guy give up a home run on one pitch than to throw 30 pitch innings and have to stand out in the outfield to get 3 outs.
Give up 2 walks and a single and give up the run that way.
Exactly.
1 strike to Mauer. Dozier takes off. Swing and a miss. It was a swing and a miss, a foul tip. And Dozier will have to go back. Mauer got a piece of it. Dozier got a good jump. But it's just a strike, 0-2.
Gardy choosing to try to get that runner down. Scoring position, try to tie this game up. Knowing Joe Mauer can handle the bat, put the ball in play pretty much anytime he wants.
Hit Dozier, got him right between the shoulder blade. Overbay didn't catch the throw.
That's going to hurt. Right in the back of the neck. No helmet protection there.
Two strikes to Mauer. Very high, 1-2. Twins with 45 home runs. There are 4 teams in the American League that have hit fewer home runs now. Kansas City with 26, Texas with 37, Tampa Bay with 43, and the Boston Red Sox have hit only 44 home runs. I think they hit half of them here. 2-2.
David Ortiz hit half of those.
So, no, the Twins aren't going to lead the league in home runs hit. But there are teams out there that have got far more of a power shortage than the Twins do.
Well, and that says a lot about Josh Willingham, what he's done in the last couple of weeks.
And to extend that thought, how much they missed him and Arcia in the first 7 weeks. 2-2 to Mauer. Nice block by Lucroy. Not only blocked it, he caught it. 3-2. You got a speedy runner at first, and that ball gets away at all. Dozier's going to run to second.
The only way you catch this ball is to anticipate it and understand that you've got to get your body out there. Keep that chest out in front of the ball. So if your hands don't literally catch the ball, your chest protector will, and it'll bounce right in front of you. That's a great job. Great view from the camera guys to show that.
Full count. See if Dozier takes off here in a high throw. He gets back.
And that's just one simple play. We talk about baseball and how dramatically things can change. That one block ball right there. The Twins are trying to get Dozier to second base. And that would have done it right there where Joe Mauer gets a hit to left and tie game.
Dozier goes. And the pitch tapped to Overbay. He'll look at second. Mauer retired. Dozier now in scoring position for Josh Willingham. Willingham has jumped back into the lineup with impressive power.
Tremendous extension. Strong upper body. Lower body too for that matter. Josh Willingham is built like a tank. But he generates a lot of bat speed and a lot of strength. And I am one that's actually surprised that he's swinging as well with that coming back from an injury like a broken wrist. Just doesn't even seem to faze him at this point.
Now nearly thrown into center field. Weeks was standing behind the bag and Had it timed with Estrada, but Estrada threw very high to second base. You know, it just seems, Jack, you've got a guy like Willingham who's not a high average hitter. He's a 260-ish career hitter. A lot of strikeouts, but a lot of power. Those seem to be the last guys to come off the disabled list that have their timing back right away. I mean, you mentioned before that Willingham's swing in slow motion looks a lot like Harmon Killebrew's. When Harmon spent some time hurt, but those are the guys who you tend to think are going to take a lot longer to start feeling good at the plate again after missing substantial time. Half swing.
Well,
not even an appeal.
To enforce our argument, I think it's harder to drive the ball than to make contact with the ball. And spray hitters are the kind of guys that can throw the bat on the ball, make good contact, and let their legs do a lot of their work. Willingham has to drive the ball, have those kind of production numbers.
And Estrada playing a little cat and mouse with Dozier and Weeks. Weeks is pulled over to the third base side of second base.
They've got the infield shift on. You can see it from that angle right there. 3 men on the left side for Willingham, who's tendency to pull the ball.
Two and 0. Check swing, but a strike. 2-1.
I would think check swings are one of the toughest things on your wrist, on your hands. You'd rather let the bat go through its natural swing pattern than try to hold up. That hurts a lot more.
Laced to left, a base hit. Dozier to third. He will be held. The throw on the fly to Lucroy. Dozier would have been out by 30 feet if he had been sent. But a solid single to left by Josh Willingham. First and third, one away.
Logan Schaefer throws a perfect strike. Now he did not hit the cutoff man. There are managers that can really get annoyed with that, but he does make a throw that probably would have been an out if Brian Dozier had been sent by Joe Vavra.
First and third, one away. Arcia went down swinging. They went upstairs to get a swinging strike 3 as he led off the second inning.
Well, this is a great spot for Arcia. He could lift one down the right field line.
Up and away.
And this is what Gardy gets so excited about with Willingham and Arcia. One swing of the bat with base runners on right here can drastically change the way this game is played. Ricky Nolasco could go out to the mound with a 2-run lead and have a little breathing room, be more aggressive within the strike zone.
Outside 2-0.
I guess that's why Earl Weaver loved the 3-run home run as much as anything. More so than Jim Palmer.
Arcia with 14 hits on the year, but 6 of them for extra bases. 3 doubles, a triple, and 2 home runs. 2-0 to the Twins right fielder. Popped up near the Twins dugout and out of play. And the Twins caught a break there. Arcia fooled on the 2-0 pitch, and he nearly popped up for the second out. Set your compass due north Thursday nights on Fox Sports North. Join hosts Bill Shirk and Laura Schera as they take a look at the stories and adventures of outdoor enthusiasts in the upper Midwest. Due North Outdoors tomorrow's at 6 o'clock, right before Twins Live on Fox Sports North. Still a favorable count for Arcia, 2-1. Trying to at least get the game tied up here. He's done a lot more than that.
I think it hit the foul pole.
A 3-run home run for Oswaldo Arcia.
Now, good for him. That's exactly what we were just talking about, how one swing of the bat can really drastically change this game. Arcia got the fastball in. Estrada's been trying to work him up in the zone. In this one, he leaves about belt high, and you can see how Oswaldo just opened up, got the bat head through the zone, and it went flying. He is a strong young man, too. And it did hit the foul pole. So my senior years are not lying to me.
Here is Plouffe. Swing and a miss. Well, Estrada, who done a nice job, faced one man over the minimum through 3 innings, but he walked the leadoff man. Had a long battle with Mauer. 2 strikes to Plouffe. Willingham hooked a base hit, and then he fell behind Arcia. And the Twins on back-to-back nights have a 3-run home run.
Noteworthy is the fact that the only walk of the game has come in to score. Amazing.
And a leadoff walk at that. 1-2 to Plouffe. Hit a fly ball to center his first time up. Deep to left, near the foul pole. On the other side of the foul pole. And we mentioned that Estrada's given up a lot of home runs. He just gave up his 18th home run to Arcia. Number 19 almost came off the bat of Plouffe.
Trevor Plouffe came out early and worked with Tom Bernansky off the tee. They had set the pitch so that he had to handle the ball up and in. He was trying to get his hands down on the ball, come down short to the ball, and he was hitting ball after ball right down the left field line.
Take a look at it. They want me to take a look at it. What do you got?
And now Ron Gardenhire is going to ask, I think, for the umpires to review this. This is not a manager's challenge, but asking the umpires to look at it. And I think our replay validated the call made by Mark Wegner, who's been in the middle of 3 plays here.
Now Ron Renicki's trying to get in the middle of the argument. They're sending him back to his office, and they're going to review it.
And I think we saw it pass in front of the foul pole right there.
The question is, did it hit it?
Yeah, the question is, did it hit it? And from that angle, it doesn't look like anything in its arc or trajectory changed.
That's not going to be a conclusive angle.
My guess is, since we're in Minnesota and there's somebody about 15 feet from that foul pole, if it had hit the foul pole, they might have motioned fair ball. The crew chief, Mark Wegner, making this review. This is not the managerial one that we had earlier.
Well, we haven't seen this, at least I haven't seen this yet, where they have reviewed a home run. The batter, Trevor Plouffe, is just standing just outside the on-deck circle, waiting for the umpires to rule on this. And so, does he even have to circle the bases? I mean, drop the bat and start running?
I think he'll do it gladly.
That would be a cameo lap, is what that'd be. If ever a guy wanted to be a little bit of a hot dog or a brat in the Brewer case, he could just really dance around the base pass if this was.
Well, if it was Carlos Gomez, he'd be sprinting. Foul ball. And Ron Renicki wanting an explanation of some sort. So again, this is a completely. This is something they could have done last year. That's the simplest way to explain it. You can see the ball about a third of the way down your screen in front of the foul pole. The only question would be whether it had hit the foul pole. They couldn't find any evidence that it did, and on the next pitch, Blue strikes out, 2 down. And that'll bring up Kurt Suzuki. Molitor was apparently in communication with Sean Harlan, the video guy for the Twins.
Well, the good news is it didn't cost the Twins an argument.
And that skips under the glove of Weeks. Suzuki hit that ball hard. It at least hit the mound. It might have made contact with Estrada, and then Weeks. You know, that's a tough play because the ball hits the mound, and you can imagine it has a lot of topspin on it. It's kind of hard to gauge that hop. Watch it hit the mound here.
Yeah, he was also screened a little bit by Estrada. Talking about Ricky Weeks. Now Carlos Gomez has gotten the umpire's attention at second base. Mike Jasinski. Somebody throwing something on the field, which we don't want to see.
Some debris taken off the field. So it's been a curious bottom of the 4th inning.
It has been.
With the only thing that really matters is the fact that Oswaldo Arcia hit a 3-run home run, just barely fared on the right field line. Pinto takes strike 1. Side and got a swinging strike. We don't see Pinto miss too many fastballs in the inner half of the plate.
That's the exact same pitch, the same location that he had struck Pinto out in his first at bat. And that's a pitch he usually handles.
2 strikes. Pitch up, fouled back.
He's got him set up for a changeup or a breaking ball. A lot of times he likes to back things up. 2 fastballs in the same location. They can go down and away with a changeup. Going to throw the breaking ball here.
Blocked by Lucroy. Getting a leadoff walk. Willingham with a single to left. And Arcia with a 3-run home run to take their first lead of the night. 1-2. The Twins' designated hitter. 2-2.
A lot of young hitters see that pitch and say, how does he lay off that? Well, your eyes light up. You see the pitch so well when it's up in the zone, but you also understand you can't catch up to it.
Check swing, a foul tip, and Lucroy hangs on, and Pinto has struck out for the 2nd time in a row. But Oswaldo Arcia with a 3-run home run, the second 3-run homer for the Twins in as many nights. Where one of the great ambassadors for the game of baseball, Don Zimmer, passed away today. He'd had some health issues. Died today at the age of 83.
Certainly miss Zim. Everybody in the game knew him. It seemed like even if you never played with him or for him, he was still part of the baseball family, and you knew him very well. We'll all miss him.
We can share some Don Zimmer stories maybe over the course of this half inning, but we also want to pass along our best wishes to our graphics coordinator Larry Robertson, whose mother Mary passed away. Mary Robertson, the last matriarch of the Griffith Robertson family that owned the Twins for so many years before the Pohlad family purchased it in 1984. So our sympathies to the Robertson family as well. Leadoff man for the Brewers in the fourth is Ricky Weeks. He doubled with 2 outs in the second, and then Mark Reynolds followed with another double. That's how the Brewers got their run, fouled away. Don Zimmer actually had played an important part in Twins history. How old were you, Jack Morris, in 1965 when the Twins went to the World Series?
Well, without giving away my age, I was 10.
All right. Do you remember the game where the Twins clinched the pennant in Washington, D.C.? Up the middle, Dozier. Flips and nice play by Brian Dozier.
What a play.
Slowly hit ground ball right over the mound. Dozier covered it and threw to Mauer. Well, I remember right where I was. I was in my Uncle Augie and Ann's house in Wendell, Minnesota, watching the game. And Jim Cott struck out a Washington Senator, and that clinched the Twins' ticket to the World Series. And that Washington Senator batter was Don Zimmer. And I mentioned it years ago to Don, and he says that was his last major league at bat. He went over to Japan after that and played professionally for a while. But very sad to hear about the passing of Don Zimmer. There's a deep fly down the left field line. Willingham with a catch right before he crosses the foul line and right before he reached the sidewall. 2 down.
Well, that's a pretty darn good play right there. Josh Willingham has to keep his concentration on the baseball while he's sprinting to his right, and knowing that wall is coming right up on him. I thought he was going to go crashing into it, just like that bat just crashed. Didn't even go down a hero either, because the ball was not a hit.
Brewers are starting a 3-city road trip tonight, and Alasko's cutting through the bat supply here. Here's Overbay. Up high, ball 1. Gomez shattered his bat in his 4th inning at bat.
Here we are, 2 outs in the 5th inning. Ricky's pitch count is great. 54 pitches. That'll be number 55. Just a little over 10 an inning, which is a very, very impressive number of pitches per inning.
He has the only Twins complete game this year, and it came in a loss. Here against the Orioles, he pitched 9 innings, gave up 3 runs. His 10th career complete game. And he's off to a good start. Giving up 2 doubles consecutively. Off the end of the bat, a little spinner to Escobar. 8 pitches in a 1-2-3-5 for an Alasko.
Lottery winner circle. Well, we have $100 worth of scratch-off tickets for Mitch and Lexi from Edina. They're here with their family. Everybody's decked out in Twins gear, and you told me that this is a nice way for you guys to get out on a summer night and spend some family time.
That's absolutely right. We love bringing our families to the Twins game, and it's even better because the Twins are winning.
Yeah, we like that part of it. And look at this. Hat, jersey, hat, shirt. We know who you're cheering for. You're on the right side.
That's right. It's the Minnesota Twins, and that's a hit.
That is a hit. You're taking Dick's job. Guys?
All right, thank you, Marty. Escobar lines a sharp single to center, and the Twins have their leadoff man on for the second inning in a row. And now Danny Santana might be in position here to bunt. We'll see. We saw him bunt for a base hit last night. We'll see if the manager wants him to put the ball on the ground and get Escobar to second base.
Well, Santana, with his speed, has options of where he bunts the ball. Mark Reynolds, the third baseman's right up on the grass. But while Overbay has to hold the runner Escobar on first so he could drag the ball too.
Bunted in the air over the Milwaukee dugout. Escobar at first after his leadoff single. Swing and a miss. 0-2.
Well, now Reynolds will back up with 2 strikes. We already gave Santana the green light to go ahead and take a hack at one.
2 strikes to Santana. Swinging bunt. Santana's thrown out.
Just as good as a regular bunt.
Escobar goes to second.
Danny Santana gets the job done one way. It doesn't matter how.
A bit of a smile for Santana. Told me yesterday he's going to get the stitches taken out of his left eyelid during this homestand. And now Brian Dozier, who's doubled, walked, and scored. Pitch tracks presented by Dodge. Strike on the outside corner. This afternoon, the Mariners won again. They beat Atlanta 2-0. Sashi Iwakuma picked up the win. And the Mariners have won 5 straight. They're now 3 games above 500. Oh, Dozier got hit high.
He's having a tough day.
Dozier got hit in the neck by Estrada's pickoff throw. That ball looked like it caught him pretty close to the same spot. Ribcage. Armpit area. First and second, 1 away. And Mauer at the plate with this time 2 men on base. He's been up with a man on board in each of his first 2 times. Down and away, ball 1.
Estrada gave up the 3-run homer to Arcia in the last inning, and now he's got 2 men on with Mauer, Willingham, and Arcia on the deck in that order.
Blocked again by Lucroy. When you look at a catcher's numbers like Lucroy and Been so clutch for the Brewers, hitting .324. Very likely, I would think, unless he gets hurt, that he'll be here during the All-Star break. But they say that he's improved so much defensively. He's had a half dozen pitches in the dirt here, and he's just smothered each and every one of them.
Yeah, there's a cycle of life in the big leagues for a few, for the best of the best, and they get to a point and they really feel comfortable in knowing their role, and I think that's where LeCroy is. He's finally grasps the fact that he is an exceptionally good catcher, and defense has kind of come along with his offense.
And hitting in the middle of a very productive lineup right now. 3-0 to Mauer. Already 2 men aboard and only 1 out. And it's a 4-pitch walk. And they're loaded up now for Willingham. And Estrada pretty much sailed through 3 innings. He had a very difficult time of it in the 4th, obviously. Twins scored 3, left 1 on, and now 3 of the first 4 batters have reached here. And only 1 has hit his way on. Willingham with a chance to break the game open a bit. Singled sharply to left his last time up. Again, blocked expertly by LeCroy.
There's an art to blocking a ball, and the good ones are able to get that chest out. The ball goes straight down in front of them, and you don't want it to deflect a long way away from you either. You need to keep it close by so that runner on third doesn't try to advance.
Over the Twins dugout, 1-1.
Willingham with already impressive numbers here in the last week and a half. Could really add to it here with 1 swing of the bat.
Willingham is 2 for 9 against Estrada with his 4th inning single and an earlier home run. Foul back left, a pitch up, and Willingham spun it back to the screen. 1-2.
This is one he's going to think about up in the zone. And man, again, great extension with his arms, power swing, head down on the ball. Just missed it.
1-2.
LeCroy putting on a clinic behind the plate.
Let me ask you, who was the best guy you ever pitched to in terms of blocking pitches like that? Because you had that splitter that you threw.
It was Lance Parrish. I remember Lance. We came up in the minor leagues together in the Tiger organization. And Les Moss, a former catcher himself, was our manager.
2-2. 3-2. Just off the outer edge.
Good take right there. That ball out of the zone. Willingham able to lay off it. And that's another sign for guys that are locked in. When they're not offering at pitches that just off the plate. They're seeing the ball well. They understand the strike zone.
Bases loaded. 1 out. Full count to Willingham. Ball 4. And Estrada, who normally is pretty good with his control, has issued 2 walks this inning. And he's hit a batter, and those all in succession.
We see a pitch by pitch. This last at bat for Josh. First pitch breaking ball in the dirt. Next pitch just missing a ball away. That one even higher in the zone. And another one that LeCroy blocks it. Last pitch right there. I think Estrada thought it was a strike, and it was close. Very close, but Willingham gets the benefit of the doubt. Twins get another run.
And the bases are still loaded for Arcia. Breaking ball over at the knees. Dozier's able to get a really big lead at third because Reynolds, the third baseman, is about 30 feet off the line. Pulled to the right side. Arcia. Dozier is forced at home. And Dozier slid into the back foot of Lucroy. 2 away, and the base is still loaded.
Overbay coming home with it, a high throw. Lucroy has to keep his foot on the base and still focus on the ball, while Dozier's busting down the line, looking to take out his back foot.
Will be left to Plouffe. Fly ball to center. A deep drive down the line, just foul, and then a strikeout on the next pitch. Strike on the outside corner.
Estrada and the Brewers got to feel like they could really dodge a bullet here if they could get an out. Of course, Trevor Plouffe could blow the game wide open.
Just outside 1-1. They're pitching Trevor away, and we've seen him mature to the point where we've seen a lot of hits to the opposite field in run-producing situations like this. We'll see what Trevor ends up doing, putting the ball in play. Tapper in front of Reynolds. Firing and getting Plouffe. A good play by Reynolds, and the Twins get one but leave 3. It's 4-1. Plan for fun at travelwisconsin.com. Diet Dew fans of the game. Cats and dogs sitting next to each other.
They might live on the St. Croix, just across from each other.
Yeah, there's got to be a way to put this series on back-to-back weekends, isn't there? I mean, the way it used to be, there has to be a way. Logan Schaefer.
Great crowd tonight.
And I don't know why, but a late arriving crowd. You look around, there's a few empty seats in the upper deck in the left field and in the right field, but the main section pretty much full.
Beautiful night for baseball.
This is the type of ballpark you'd like to think that if the local teams playing decent baseball and the weather's nice, that Minnesotans will still come out just to go to a ball game, because for 28 years they couldn't enjoy good outdoor baseball. 2 strikes to Logan Schaefer. And Velasco's been in control of this thing. A pair of doubles with 2 outs in the second. Those are the only base runners that the Brewers have had against Velasco.
Ricky's done a great job with the pitch count. Only 60 pitches here. Just pounding the strike zone. A lot of low pitch innings.
Fouled off the front of the Twins dugout. Schaefer hitting 9th, then Segura and Braun in the Brewers' 6th inning. One and 2. Tapper to first. Easy play for Mauer. 1 away. Before Segura's at bat, Twins hold the number 5 overall pick in Thursday's draft. Now on FoxSportsNorth.com. Tyler Mason examines who Minnesota could take and talk with scouting director Darren Johnson about the team's draft strategy. You got a draft story to tell about how you were drafted and circumstances surrounding it and all that?
Well, I think every player has a story. Whether or not we find it interesting or not, I don't know. But
I still, because we saw Bob Uecker in Milwaukee, he had the best draft story. He said he signed for a $5,000 signing bonus, and where his dad came up with the $5,000, he had no idea. Breaking ball up and in, 1-1.
Well, when I signed, I remember former Twin scout Tiger scout Ed Catalinas calling me up. He made me an offer, and I told him there's no way, that's not worth it. It's not enough. And he said, well, Jack, you know what pitchers are a dime a dozen. I said, well, I'll send you a couple $100 and you can buy all you need. I signed a couple days later.
Okay.
I wanted to pitch.
1 and 2. Segura with a pop up to second, then a ground ball to Dozier at second. And Segura strikes out. Another strikeout for Velasco. That's number 6.
Good breaking ball right here by Ricky. Starting on the plate, breaking down and away, just off the plate. You can see Segura, his head's out in left field with the fans out there. He's trying to yank. Not even seeing that ball at all.
Ryan Braun hearing a mixture of, well, there's no mix, it's just a few boos. And a strike. Braun struck out on the first, tapped to short in the third. To center, and Santana over a few steps. Makes the catch, a 1-2-3-6. Velasco's had 5 1-2-3 innings so far tonight. North is presented by Toyota. Let's go places. To find your nearest Toyota dealer and check out our current offers, visit buyatoyota.com. By Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, for the everyday competitor in all of us. And by McDonald's, where right now you can score a delicious, creamy McCafe iced coffee starting at just $1.59. 4-1 Twins looking to win back-to-back games against the Brewers. Ricky Nolasco hoping to win back-to-back starts. That's what it's going to take for this Twins team to emerge from the glut of teams that are within a series of the 500 mark. You've got, if you look at the standings in baseball, you've got Toronto right now with a comfortable lead in the American League East, and the Tigers are losing again tonight, but they've got a comfortable lead in the Central. Oakland similarly in the West. So if you take those three teams out, you've got 9 teams that are just bobbing to the surface of the 500 mark, and then they'll go back under, like the Twins. Of those 9 teams, there are going to be maybe 3 or 4 that will emerge as contending teams, either contending for a division championship or contending for a wild card. And I guess, Jack, the more I've seen, not of the Twins, we know they're a flawed team. They've got a major issue in center field. They have their flaws. But the more I've seen of the other teams, I'm not so sure why the Twins can't be one of those teams that can correct the flaws. And there's another foul fly up the right field side into the seats. Correct the flaws and be a factor in things this summer.
I can't disagree with that, Dick. I really believe that the Twins, it's all about tightening up the ship and setting sail. And, you know, parity comes to mind of a lot of teams. You talked about the other night with Roy that any one of those teams are a 2-game winning streak or a 2-game losing streak between 2nd and 5th place.
Hold foul.
And that's where we are right now. Of course, we're in the early stages of June. There's a lot of baseball to be played yet. But it seems as though, more so than in years past, that there's just a heck of a lot of balance in the game. And on any given night, like Tom Kelly always says, you're only as good as your starting pitcher.
Tapper up the line. Suzuki might get an infield hit. Reynolds bare hands, fires, and throws it up the line. Suzuki has his hit, and he'll go to second on the air. Reynolds picks himself up. Segura as well, heading to third. The Twins get the leadoff man on again in the 6th.
Well, it was going to be a bang-bang play for Reynolds. He came up barehanding it, doing a nice job of at least fielding the ball, but then his errant throw down the right field line, while Overbay just couldn't get to it. And that's a play that can get a first baseman in trouble when you throw it up the line right in the path of the base runner. Overbay probably doing the smart thing by letting the ball go instead of sticking on his arm too much in front of Suzuki.
Pinto, the batter, he struck out twice against Estrada. Runner at second, nobody out. Tapper to short. Suzuki will hold up. And Segura fires to first, 1 away. Check out some Major League Baseball news and notes. Told you about Iwakuma's 7 shutout innings. Atlanta defeated by Seattle. Adrian Beltre with a couple of homers tonight. Texas and Baltimore, 2 of those teams making up the clot in the middle of the American League. And Cespedes with a couple of home runs. Now we showed you, I think it was when we were in Milwaukee, Twins have always seems had trouble with the American League East. The Twins have seen everybody in the East, played a series against all 5 teams, and they've won all 5 series. So on the basis of that, there isn't anybody from the East that should be considered better than the Twins right now. The Twins have beaten them head to head.
Well, with the exception, I think the Blue Jays are a different team right now anyway than they were when they faced the Twins earlier.
Fly to left, harmlessly it appears, to Schaefer. A fair ball catch and out number 2. No, you're right. Toronto's taken off from when they were here at Target Field. within the division. The Twins have seen everybody.
I agree with you. I really believe that at least in those two divisions, and we haven't seen everybody in the West yet, but in those two divisions, on any given day, the Twins could play with any of them. And, you know, the more they win games coming from behind like they did in New York, and the more games like last night with Willingham's 3-run home run and Dozier's home run, and tonight Arcia's home run, that gives a team a lot of confidence.
Santana out in front of the changeup, strike one.
Tonight now, Nolasco seems to be dialed in.
And that's the key to this turnaround for the Twins in their drive to get above the 500 mark for good is the starting pitching. And over the last 7 games, an ERA of under 3. May was better than April, and so far June's been better than May. That needs to continue. A drive to right. Retreating is Braun. He's there to make the catch, and the Twins can't do anything with Suzuki. We've got the second with nobody out. Story of the game. Arcia's drive off the foul pole and right, a 3-run home run that gave the Twins their first lead. Ricky Nolasco's been brilliant today.
He really has been, Ricky, through 6 innings, 68 total pitches, 49 strikes, 12 first pitch strikes out of 20 hitters that he's faced, but very good pitch count. 68 pitches through 6 innings. That's as good as Ricky's thrown as far as pitch count all year so far.
This is a Brewer team, too, that's 5th in the National League in runs scored. So this is one of the better lineups in the National League. It'll be Lucroy, Gomez, and Ramirez in the 7th. Up high, ball 1. Lucroy popped up to Dozier, and then he struck out in the 4th. Nolasco's high water mark in terms of strikeouts, 9 in Cleveland. Here's a liner to left. It's just the 3rd base runner for the Brewers, but it's a leadoff single for Lucroy in the 7th.
Well, like the Twins, the Brewers, even though they're down by 3, that doesn't seem to be a number that's overwhelming for them. They can strike quickly. They've got a lot of guys that can put the ball in the seats. So Nolasco's going to have to keep plugging along.
Nolasco and the Twins have pitched Gomez carefully and successfully. Tonight, a strikeout and a ground ball to second. A shattered bat ground ball. Down and away, ball 1. In a sense, the Brewers a couple weeks ago turned their lineup inside out. They took Gomez, who was hitting at the top of the lineup, batted him 4th, took some guys in the middle of the lineup, hit him more toward the top. And there's a liner to left off the bat of Gomez, and here come the Brewers with a pair of singles to start the 7th inning.
Well, that pitch just left up and over the plate for Gomez. Ricky, and we'll probably see it here shortly, but Ricky trying to keep the ball down, and that ball just left up. Carlos got his big old arms out. Here's the pitch. It's kind of left out over the plate. Suzuki bringing his glove back towards the middle of the plate.
Aramis Ramirez, bouncer to short and a fly ball to left in his return to the lineup after 3 weeks on the shelf. Down and in, ball 1. Velasco a little upset with how the 7th inning has started after he had sailed through 6 and retired 13 batters in a row. High fly deep center. Santana back at the wall. Gone. A 3-run homer.
Well, I was just about to say, you feel like you're kind of sitting in a comfortable place as a pitcher with a 3-run lead, and then 2 quick hits by Lucroy and Gomez. Then Ramirez comes up, and you saw his power right there, straightaway center field. That ball was crushed.
Absolutely sailing through 6 innings, and then single home run, tie game.
Right down the middle, full extension.
Bases empty in a tie game. Here's Ricky Weeks. Down and away, ball 1.
Crazy game of baseball, but just one pitch, and it's really more than one pitch. It's the 3 hits this inning, but quickly a good outing can turn into a not so good outing. They'll all be earned runs.
One and one to Weeks. Reynolds will hit next. Foul back 1-2. Activity in the Twins bullpen in a hurry, with Velasco giving every appearance he would sail through to the very end of the ball game before needing bullpen help.
It's like Matt Carrera and Caleb Thielbar both throwing. There's some activity in the Brewer bullpen. You got to feel like this is going to come on down to the bullpens again.
Swing and a miss. And Weeks is gone on strikes, 1 away. That'll bring up Mark Reynolds.
7th strikeout for Ricky Nolasco. That being a good breaking ball down in the zone that Weeks couldn't lay off.
Reynolds with an RBI double in the 2nd, and then he fouled out to Willingham. I believe it was ruled a foul ball right down the left field line. Strike 1. Fox Tracks presented by Carrier. Inside, 1-1.
Ricky's pitch count still in good shape. Only 80 pitches thrown. He's got a little left in the tank. He just has to manage this inning.
Off the glove of Plouffe. Escobar picks it up, fires. Not in time. It'll be the second hit for Reynolds. Right off the tip of Plouffe's webbing at third base. With a well hit ball. Still only 1 out in the inning. Check out MLB.TV Premium. See for yourself what millions of fans are already seeing. Watch every out-of-market game streamed live, online, or on the go, all in high definition. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Slow walk to the mound by Suzuki, as everyone's trying to figure out what exactly has happened here in the 7th inning.
Ricky Nolasco only giving up 2 hits through the first 6 innings, and they all came in the 2nd inning. 4 hits now here in the 7th inning.
There's his pitches by inning right there.
Overbay with a strikeout and a ground ball to short. The Twins have turned 3 ground ball double plays in each of the last 2 games. Mainly because he hasn't had many base runners before. The Twins haven't turned one yet. And strike 1 to Overbay. You can imagine from a pitching coach's standpoint, manager standpoint, I know from a fan standpoint, it's frustrating when an inning suddenly and abruptly erupts like this, but you must have had a few of those in your career. What's it like for you out there on the mound when you're sailing along and all of a sudden it seems like they're on every pitch you throw?
You know, it happened more early in my career than it did late, because as you mature as a pitcher, you understand when you can tolerate getting beat and when you can't. And for me, getting beat late in the game after you work so hard.
And now they'll get the out. Overbay saying the ball hit his foot. But both the third base umpire Mark Wegner and Andy Fletcher have been in the middle of all sorts of controversy here tonight. Overbay never left the batter's box, so that would lead me to believe that it hit his foot. But again, this is not a reviewable play.
Ricky Nolasco's arm is right in the way. We couldn't see it there. We'll see if we can see it here. Might have spun his pant leg.
We'll show the viewers the replay, but we can't. It's not a reviewable play.
And I don't know what Renick's arguing either, because there's nothing. I mean, he went and did him the courtesy of asking third base umpire Mark Wegner, Mark, did you see anything? And he said, no, I didn't see anything. What more can he do? He can't review it.
There's a little frustration built up in the Milwaukee dugout, I know, because of the bases loaded walk a couple innings ago. Let's see if this angle will tell us anything. No. The hop was after it hit the ground. Whether it brushed his pant leg or not, I guess is. Well, Reynolds nearly went back to first base. He took 2 steps off the bag. But he's awarded second base. But Overbay is the second out. And now Logan Schaefer with the go-ahead run in scoring position. Slow breaking ball, a half swing, and Andy Fletcher calls it a strike.
Maybe this angle will show us a little more.
That does look like it hit off the back of the outside of his ankle, maybe.
Hard to tell.
The fact that Overbay never left the batter's box would suggest to me that he did get hit. Down and in and a full swing and a miss, 0-2.
Well, either that or he was committed not to running on that ball that he knew he couldn't beat out. So it's either smart hitting or not so smart hitting.
Two strikes. Nolasco needs to get the Twins off the field here after giving up a 3-run lead. That kicks away from Suzuki, but Reynolds can't advance.
Getting back to your question earlier, though, about getting beat late, having situations. Certainly, I gave up back-to-back hits and lost ball games late in games, and it's the human element. I mean, you're not trying to do that. Ricky's not, but your focus sometimes can be that split of a quickness in a lapse where you don't concentrate, and all of a sudden 2 or 3 bad pitches, and man, they can ambush you quickly.
Changeup floats outside, 2-2.
And if we talk to Ricky after the game, I'm sure he'll admit that pitch to Ramirez, the pitch to Gomez, those were not pitches he tried to make. This one right here, man, it looked like, from our eyes anyway, it was closer than it actually was on Foxtrot.
Suzuki counseling with Nolasco, still 2-2. Big out to get. He's the number 9 batter. Brewers have just tied the game on a 3-run home run.
Well, he needs this out right here. He needs to get the team in the dugout. They still can come back. Ricky can still win this game. Game management right here.
Breaking ball lifted to left. Willingham comes in to end the inning. Good inning for the Brewers. They get a 3-run home run to answer Arcia's home run. Ramirez's home run still out in the grass in center field. It tied the game at 4. Fox Sports North is presented by Wisconsin Tourism. Beautiful night here at the ballpark. And the Twins are hoping to reclaim the lead. Ricky Nolasco giving up 3 runs on 1 swing of the bat. We're tied at 4.
New pitcher for the Brewers will be right-hander Rob Wood. Pitched from the series in Milwaukee.
Coming in here to face Dozier, Mauer, and Willingham in the 7th. So no decision for Marco Estrada. Twins had chances certainly to break the game open, mainly in the 5th inning. They had 1 run in, bases loaded, 1 out, and then Arcia reached on a fielder's choice. Plouffe bounced out. That was the end of the threat. And then a hit and an error put Suzuki at second. Nobody out the next inning. Dozier bluffs a bunt and takes ball 1. Dozier's reached all 3 times. Scored once. Strike of the knees, 1-1. Touched Wooten for 3 hits and a run in the 1 inning he pitched. And Dozier reached for that. It's a strike, 1-2.
Mark Reynolds, the third baseman for the Brewers, has really never been known as a Gold Glove type third baseman. He's a serviceable third baseman. I think he's better known for his hitting, but Dozier tried to catch him back. He probably would have beat it if he could have laid it right down the line.
You got to have a buntable pitch, too, right?
Exactly. You can't be hoping for a good strike. You got to see the pitch.
2-2 to the leadoff man here in the Twins 7th. 3-2. Twins have gotten the leadoff man on in the last 3 innings. Dozier's walk in the 4th. Escobar's single in the 5th, and then Suzuki's single and error on Reynolds, sending Suzuki to second in the 6th. 3-2. Popped up down the right field line. Braun near the line makes the catch, one away. That'll bring up Mauer. As promised earlier in the game, we have the AT&T fan photo of the game. Tweet your photo to hashtag NorthFanPhoto for a chance to be shown in an upcoming broadcast. Brought to you by AT&T. Russell watching the Twins with a nice TV in the background. Also left-handed batters at Arcia in the batter's box. Maybe that was right before the home run. Here's Mauer. Drew a walk his last time up. Strike at the knees.
Matt Guerrero continues to throw in the Twins bullpen. Just got to wonder if that's the end of the night for Ricky and Velasco.
Down and away, 1-1.
I guess it's Casey Fiend now throwing. And that could mean the end for Ricky. Usually when Fiend's up, he's coming in the game.
Well, we won't belabor the 7th inning so much. 6 really good innings for Velasco, and if the Twins can get him a run here, he can still get a win.
Yeah. Appears though they're going to need to do it right now, this half inning. Frustrating for Ricky. He pitched so well, and then just as quick as you can say whatever you want to say, 3 pitches later.
To left, carrying to Schaefer, 2 down. And that'll bring up Willingham.
Joe hit that one just a little too hard right at the left fielder. Brewers really not shifting over on Mauer that time. Now the infield's going to shift for Josh Willingham. The outfield plays him straight away and deep.
Willingham with a single, a run scored, a walk, and a run batted in. His walk came with the bases loaded. A couple of very close pitches that led to the Twins' 4th run. Ducks away, takes a strike. Thing too that Willingham and Arcia have done, and neither is going to win a Gold Glove award, but they have stabilized things somewhat in the outfield. If a ball's hit to left field and it should be caught, it's been caught. Same too in right field. This ball blasted to right center field. Very high and halfway up the scoreboard. Willingham has a double with 2 outs in the 7th. A veteran hitter hitting the ball where it's pitched and driving it deep to right center field.
Well, again, good extension. Josh understanding that Twins need base runners, and he doesn't try to overswing on this one. The ball really carrying out to right field there. So now the Twins, with a runner at second base, have a runner in scoring go-ahead run. It's in scoring position. Ron Renicky going to come out and make a pitching change.
Oswaldo Arcia has cranked a 3-run home run. He has a chance to drive in another run here thanks to a Willingham double. And Wooten Lee's facing 3 men, giving up 2 line drives, 1 off the bat of Mauer for an out, and Willingham's 2nd double of the year. Sports North presented by Wisconsin Tourism. Oswaldo Arcia hit a 3-run home run to give the Twins their first lead. He can put the Twins back in front with something less, but in the 4th inning, Arcia banged one off the foul pole with 2 men on. So strong, and Arcia treats a baseball like it's a tennis ball. Look at the compression when the bat meets the ball. Came in at what, 89 maybe, and left home plate at 102.3 miles per hour.
Pretty good bat speed right there. That's directly correlated to the bat speed.
Tough assignment here because Will Smith has been tremendous for the Brewers. One of 3 left-handed relievers that they have, and Arcia is going to try to hang in there and deliver a big hit here in the 7th against one of the toughest lefty setup guys in the game.
Arcia is 0 for 3 against Smith.
Up and in, ball 1. Smith has pitched 26 innings. He's given up 1 earned run. Now the runner at second, Willingham, is an inherited runner. You see lefties hitting just 121 against Smith. 1-0 to Arcia. Breaking ball that covers the inside corner.
That can be tough on hitters right there. You hit a fastball in the upper 90s, the first pitch up at your eyeballs, and then he kind of locks you up with a breaking ball that's heading right at you and catches the inside corner.
Saw an inordinately high number of inherited runners have scored on Smith. 15 of 18. That's Jack Morris. That's 5 out of 6 right there.
Well, my theory on that is don't let them come in with the runners on base. Make them start an inning.
2-1 to Arcia. Breaking ball. And that's our Phantom Cam. Slow motion replay of Arcia's normal swing.
That wasn't your eyes, folks. That was just Arcia's slow-mo swing.
Now we're going to slow it down even further.
At least he laughs about it.
2-2. Breaking ball, right field, a base hit. Willingham comes around third. Braun's throw off target, and Smith collides with Willingham. Willingham scores. He's all right, and Arcia delivers a big hit with 2 outs, scoring Willingham from second.
Big hit being an understatement right there. He's fooled so bad on the previous pitch, and Will Smith comes right back with it. And Arcia just able to kind of slow the bat head down, pull the ball. The throw by Braun offline. You can see his lower body just really fooled. His hips were gone, his legs were gone, but he kept his hands back. And there's the collision with the pitcher. We're seeing a little everything in tonight's game.
This has been an interesting game.
4th RBI of the night for Oswaldo Arcia.
1 strike to Plouffe. Arcia with a big lead at second base. Now 1-1. So another inherited runner scoring.
And that, with that hit and that run scored, gives Ricky Nolasco a chance to win the game. If the Twins bullpen could come in and do the job for 2 innings.
That's a base hit down the right field line. Arcia around third. He's coming in. Just the 2nd earned run allowed by Smith this year.
Right there, that is exactly what Trevor Plouffe has done so many times this year, and what has made him such a better hitter so far for the Twins. Just going with what the pitch was. Ball was down and away. He threw his hands at the ball, and he's got enough strength to just drive the ball into right, scoring. Arcia, who's sporting a new haircut today. He's pretty proud of that, showing Danny Glad and me that new look.
Of a mohawk look, right?
Well, I'm not sure what you really want to call it, but it works for him. I asked Danny if he might consider it, and he quickly said no.
I don't know how to politely say this. I don't think Danny could pull off a mohawk anymore. 1 strike to Suzuki. It should be noted that with 2 outs, the Twins have 3 hits. 2 of them from right-handed batters who went to the opposite field. Willingham deep to the gap in right center for a double. And then Plouffe rolling one between the first baseman and the line. Suzuki checks his swing. Ron Renicky understandably proud of Smith and the job he's done, wondering whether Smith might be selected for an all-star berth here at Target Field. And most of the numbers you'd say sure, but that inherited runner thing, that's a bad number for a relief pitcher to have. 2-1.
Well, he clearly has an electric arm. Fastball in the low to mid 90s. Good breaking ball, really tough on left-handers.
2-1. The Twins have jumped back in front with some impressive 2-out hitting here in the 7th. Chopper to short. And the Brewers finally put the Twins to bed in the 7th. A 3-run home run by Arcia in the 4th, and maybe a bigger hit in the 7th with 2 outs against a tough lefty. Arcia put the Twins back in front.
Back at it tomorrow night, game number 4 of this home-and-home series. It's turn back the clock night at Target Field. The Twins, of course, back in their powder blues. The Brewers also in their retro uniforms. 80s throughout the ballpark. It's going to be a lot of fun. We get you ready for baseball at 6:30 with Twins Live. Now back to Dick and Jay.
All right, thank you very much, Kevin. Yeah, we'll have some fun tomorrow night. Oswaldo Arcia and the gentleman on the right.
It might be his barber.
Seeing the same barber. I think what I'll do tomorrow, since it's turned back the clock night, I'm going to
get a mohawk.
No. But I think I'll wear a tie that Calvin Griffith gave me in 1984.
I was thinking maybe you'd sport some Elton John platform shoes and maybe a place.
Do that too. You never know.
Shirt. We got some changes. Casey Fiend being the new Twins pitcher. Aaron Hicks has replaced Danny Santana out in center field.
Fiend will face the top of the Brewer lineup. Segura, Braun, and Lucroy. With Hicks in center field replacing Santana. And a strike.
They can close the book on Ricky Nolasco. He pitches 7 innings, gives up 6 hits, 4 runs all earned, no walks, and 7 strikeouts. So take away that 7th inning, and Ricky pitches himself a gem. Still has a chance to win the game.
1-1. Fiend pitching in back-to-back nights here against the Brewers. Had an odd night last night. Gave up a leadoff double and a 2-out single. Gave up a run, which is very unlike him. 23 pitches thrown. Swing and a miss. 1-2.
Well, you've talked about him a lot this year, and Bert, Roy, everybody that's broadcast, what a fierce competitor he is, how he doesn't waste any time. And I got to believe that no one wants to be back out on the mound more than Casey Fiend right now.
1-2 to Segura. Popped up. A foul ball and out of play. I think we said in New York when Fiend came in that if he were a starting pitcher, the game would last about an hour and 45 minutes.
Let's make him a starter. I'm all for it.
Tigers lost again. They have now lost 13 of their last 17 games. Toronto beat them 8-2. Zach Duke, another left-handed reliever, warming up to pitch to the Twins in the bottom of the inning. Of greater concern, the top of the inning. 1-2 to Segura. Poked foul, protecting the plate nicely. Twins issued 8 walks and won the ball game last night. Glenn Perkins walked the first 2 batters he faced.
As I was watching that game unfold, I saw Perk have a little spurt of wildness, but his arm is so electric that one pitch can get him back on track.
Hammered backhanded by Escobar. Quick throw. Mauer with the other end. Nice play by Eduardo Escobar. 1 away. Chopped into the dirt. Escobar had to backhand it and release it quickly and accurately.
He made a great play in New York, and this one almost as impressive. It goes and backhands it, but boy, did he get rid of it quick. Joe Mauer can pretty much be a Hoover vacuum cleaner over there. He makes short work of that throw. Not really that far offline, a little low. Good defense.
Now Braun 0 for 3, a ground ball, a fly ball, and a strikeout. With Detroit's loss, a Twins win here tonight would mean that while the Twins might still be in last place, they'd be 4 games out.
That's getting within striking distance.
Well, especially with all the games left.
You can. Well, I can admit that 5 games in the month of September you're still in.
That's right.
So it's nothing here in June.
Popped up right side. Mauer calls for it. 2 down. Twins fans, here's a way to win 2 tickets to this year's Home Run Derby on the Budweiser roof deck here at Target Field. Head over to Cowboy Jack's from 6:30 to 7:30 on Saturday for All Stars Unplugged, presented by Budweiser. Kent Herbeck, Tom Bernansky will be there to regale you with All-Star and other stories. And a lucky fan will head home with tickets to the Home Run Derby. Check out the player appearance calendar on twinsbaseball.com for more info. 2 down, and here is Jonathan Lucroy. The biggest objective, though, on this homestand is to get to and then get above and stay above the 500 mark.
Yep.
And that'll be a challenge, not just on this homestand, but on the upcoming road trip, too.
Gardy has said it, and I agree with him. There's just no freebies anymore in baseball. Everybody is so balanced that every series has meaning. And I guess that's a good thing. It certainly can help boost attendance.
One thing the Twins have not had is that, long winning streak, or that really great 2-week stretch where you start
really believing.
And you get other people, either whether it's the fans or people nationally believe that, hey, this team's really good. Twins haven't had that. They've had a 7-3 stretch over a 10-game period when they won 4 series in a row. But the biggest thing, and even with the disappointment of the 7th inning, you looked at Nolasco tonight, and he looked nothing like the pitcher we saw in April. 2-1, 3-1, with Gomez on deck.
What'll really be interesting this year as the season starts getting closer to postseason time is to see what teams will consider themselves in the hunt and what teams will be considered themselves out of the hunt as far as buyers and sellers.
And Fiend issues a walk, which will get Gomez to the plate as the tying run.
Now those darn walks.
Suzuki trying to calm Fiend down. Nothing fries him more than issuing a walk in the role that he's in, and he doesn't issue many of them. But a 2-out walk here will get Gomez to the plate. Fiend just his 5th walk allowed this year. The dangerous Gomez, who singled in the 7th, right in front of Ramirez's game-tying home run.
That was a cutter right there, and that's the pitch Casey needs to throw away, and down and away to Carlos Gomez. You don't want to muscle up against a guy like Gomez because he'll just try to jumpstart his swing.
Fastball off the plate. Based on what we saw of Gomez when he played for the Twins and what we've seen from Fiend, if Fiend threw that cutter 3 times where he threw that first one, he'd get 3 swings and misses. But Gomez has become a better hitter. Wow. Fiend challenges him.
And that's my concern right there.
Gomez tried to hit it into the Mississippi River.
They both muscled up on that pitch. Well, now Fiend's got him in a situation where the little cutter in a good location down and away, or an off-speed pitch. He's going with the fastball.
And a foul tip. Suzuki couldn't hang on.
Casey reaching back for a little extra there. That one at 93 miles an hour.
But again, everything, at least the targets are all away. They know what this guy can do with his pull happy swing. One and 2. Cutter got him. Pretty much the same pitch he threw him to get strike 1. And it's a scoreless 8th inning for Casey Fiend.
start the bottom of the 8th inning, and we will have plenty of highlights from this game after the final out in Twins Live, presented by CenturyLink. We'll look at some late inning heroics for the Twins. After the Brewers had tied the game up in the top of the 7th, the Twins regained the lead in the bottom of the 7th, and that was because of Oswaldo Arcia. He hit the go-ahead RBI single. He also hit a 3-run homer earlier in this game. We will get Ron Gardenhire's reaction to this one as well. Twins and Brewers, Twins Live comes up right after the game. Dick and Jack.
Thank you very much, Marnie. It's been a good ball game for the Twins. They've gotten some clutch hits, some long hits. And Zach Duke will be the next Brewer reliever. Duke, one of 3 left-handers. To go with the 4 right-handers. The Twins got some work done. A couple of hits against Will Smith. Now Pinto will start things all over again in the bottom of the 8th against Duke.
Well, the only Twins hitter that Duke has faced in the Twins lineup tonight is Josh Willingham. Everybody else will face him for the first time.
Pinto hits one a mile long and a half-mile foul.
Well, I haven't seen every game here at Target Field, but that's the first one I've seen hit over there.
It surprised me. It might surprise you. Pinto hitting just 158 against left-handers. Down and away, and it's 1-1. Twins won't play any more National League games for more than a month. They have one interleague series in a National League park left. That's right before the All-Star break at Coors Field. 2-1. And so with some other guys struggling, sure the temptation is going to be there on a regular basis to either have Pinto catch or be the designated hitter. Right now, Jason Kubel and Chris Parmalee are both really scuffling. You know about Hicks's issues. The other guy on the bench tonight is Eduardo Nunez. It's not like there are a whole lot of options. So as we move forward here, it'll be interesting to see how the Twins. Pinto striking out for the 3rd time tonight. How the Twins fill the DH spot. Let's get caught up with the Twins in front by a pair of runs.
Well, Arcia's had a big night. 3-run home run and an RBI single in the bottom of the 7th inning to put the Twins on top and give starting pitcher Ricky Nolasco a chance. Ricky pitches 7 innings, gives up 6 hits, 4 runs, but no walks over 7 innings. And really, you take away the 7th where 3 runs scored. On 4 of those hits, he pitches a great game for the Twins tonight. Still got a chance to win.
Escobar, a single and a run scored as a left-handed batter, now hitting from the right side. Down the right field line. Foul and into the seats. 2 strikes. Got the save last night, and afterwards he tweeted that he was, since he was wearing the powder blue uniforms, he was doing his best Ron Davis impersonation.
Is that what the walks are?
He did not give up a crushing 3-run home run.
Elaborate?
Yes, no, I beg to differ with Perk about that, but he might get a chance again here. That ball landed in front of the plate, 1-2.
As I was watching the game, I was thinking of some of the Twins that wore that uniform. Hoskin Powell, Bombo Rivera, Rob Wilfong.
Check swing. Where was the pitch? Lucroy wanted it. 2-2.
I think your partner last night, Roy Smalley, wore that uniform, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
Let's see the last pitch. It was close.
foul back. Escobar hanging tough, trying to lead the Twins to an insurance run here in the 8th. Swinging strike 3, 2 down. Carsoup.com trivia question innings ago, which Twin is at the most home runs in interleague history? I didn't have time. I was going to say Torrey Hunter.
Yeah,
I really was.
I might have guessed Justin Morneau.
29 home runs. Joe Mauer with 16. Jason Kluber with 14. Aaron Hicks, the batter, facing a left-hander as a right-handed batter, something he's accustomed to doing, but hasn't had many at-bats period since he announced he was giving up switch hitting. Santana had gone 0 for 4. Two and 1. Hicks entered the game for defensive purposes in the top of the 8th inning, so this is not a pinch hitting appearance. Hicks hitting .250 against left-handed pitching. And as we said, when he announced he was giving up left-handed hitting, a very good on-base percentage of .400 against lefties. The challenge will be to posting numbers similar to that against right-handed pitching. A tapper, foul, 3-2.
I found it interesting that Ron Gardenhire really didn't put any kind of argument into it. He didn't encourage him not to give up on the left-handed side. I think he felt that as long as Aaron was basically strong in his conviction to do it, that he thought he might be able to succeed at it.
Fouled away. When asked about that very thing, Ron Gardenhire said, you know, if he's coming into my office and telling me he has no confidence on that side of the plate, up here at this level, it'd be different maybe if he was in Double-A and say, hey, well, stick with it for another couple of weeks. But up here, if you don't have any confidence doing something, you can't possibly succeed.
You're beat already. You have to believe at the big league level. It's just too tough.
Hicks hanging tough with some off-speed pitches thrown up there by Duke.
But it's also our observation, I think you'll agree with me, that Aaron Hicks looks like a lot better hitter from the right side than he ever did from the left side.
From the time he was a little boy, everything has been breaking into him from the mound. And he takes ball 4. He takes a walk with 2 gone in the 8th inning. And might be asked to steal a base here. Who knows? Dozier, the batter. Only 1 for 2, but he's been on base 3 times. He's also walked and scored, hit by a pitch. And in his last at bat, hit a fly ball down the right field line. And Dozier takes strike 1. Down and away, 1-1. Oakland beat the Yankees in the Bronx 7-4. St. Louis leading Kansas City 2-0, bottom of the 9th inning. And now 2-1. 2-1. Aaron Hicks at first, 2 away. Lace to left. Down for a hit. Dozier with his second line drive shot to left field for a base hit, and that'll get Mauer up with 2 men aboard.
Dozier does a good job of working the count in his favor and then getting the pitch to handle. Quick inside. See those hips rotating. That front leg opening up while his hands come flying through the zone.
Mauer 0 for 3, lined out to left his last time up. Breaking ball. What a snag by Segura, and he throws him out. What a tremendous play by Gene Segura. Took a hit and an RBI away from Mauer. Glenn Perkins will try to pick up another save for the Twins in the border battle. Glenn Perkins out there to pick up the save again tonight, and his first pitch misses, ball 1. He misfired on 8 of his first 9 pitches last night at Miller Park. Walked the first 2 men, gave up just 1 run, but was very un-Perkins-like with his control. Second pitch lofted to right. Arcia puts it away, 1 down. We'll bring up Ricky Weeks, our Century link to what's next. It'll be Peralta against Correa in the final game this year between Milwaukee and Minnesota. One down, and now Ricky Weeks. Weeks drew the leadoff walk from Perkins last night and ended up scoring a run. Brewers ended up getting 3 at-bats that represented the tying run against Perkins. Entered the game with a 3-run lead and gave 1 back, but had to get Lucroy, Braun, and Gomez for the 3 outs of the 9th inning.
Yeah, he walked Ricky Weeks and then he walked Segura.
Nice catch by Perkins. He went as high as he could go, and he snagged it for out number 2. That was a base hit, I think, if he doesn't catch it.
Well, I'm not sure he had any vertical leap, but he got full body extension anyway.
Dozier might have been able to make a play. At any rate, 2 quick outs here in the 9th. And now Mark Reynolds.
Either way, Glenn Perkins will take that out. Brewers down to their last out.
Reynolds with a double and a single. Chris Davis has come out onto the on-deck circle. Should Reynolds extend the game? Swing and a miss. And a high fastball. I think when Perkins came in last night, we showed you and told you he just hasn't pitched much. And sometimes that can be the worst thing for a closer. Perkins has a bit of an issue standing next to the mound here, and I'm not sure what the issue is. Whatever it was isn't serious. 1 strike to Reynolds. Two strikes. And tonight 6 pitches, 4 strikes when 8 of the first 9 were out of the strike zone last night.
Crowd of 31,000 getting up.
Got him. And tonight Glenn Perkins makes quick work of the Brewers, and they've won back-to-back ball games against Milwaukee. And Tom Hanneman, the Twins, after a good road trip, hoping for a good homestand and a good way to get it started here tonight.
Dick, the Twins win another homecoming game. Fight to the finish, riding a pair of rallies to outlast the Brewers 6-4. Up next on Twins Live, we'll break down their late inning rally, and we'll hear from Ron Gardner's post-game press conference.